The big question, the next big question, of course, is the cost. Now, we caught the SEPTA CFO on probably on a bad day, and he gave us an estimate of $100 million. We don't think we can hold him to that, so we came up with our own of about $300 million. This is about $20 million a mile. It's a 15-mile route. If we go with the R4 option, if we go through Jenkintown instead of Fox Chase, that price comes down a little bit. There's a few other considerations that might lower it. The economy right now has been pretty good for construction pricing. By comparison, the Scudder Falls Bridge all by itself right now is up to about $500 million just for one bridge. And if we attempted to put 1,500 new riders on the system using new parking spaces, that would cost us $300 million as well. So dollar for dollar, we get about twice as many riders on the line with a train than we do with more parking spaces at existing stations. I'm going to turn it over to John Fry now. John Fry is the president of PA Tech and the founder. He's going to talk real quick about the time frame and the studies that are involved, and then we'll take questions from first the council and then the audience.
Thank you. Realistically speaking, there's a lot of planning and studying that has to go into a project of this magnitude. The first step would be a feasibility study where the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission or the Bucks County Planning Commission would look at ridership, demographics, present commute patterns, to confirm that this is actually a viable project and how it ties into the region. We're hoping if we get a study going this time that they're actually going to look at this in a regional perspective and see how it ties into the other lines and creates new ridership, not just on this line, but on the other lines that currently can accommodate more riders. Once the initial study is done, they do something called an alternatives analysis, where we look at all the different options of running the train, whether it's diesel or electric, whether it's the R4 or the R8, and we pick the best option based on cost and benefit. Once the studies are done, they do engineering to determine the final cost and all the little details that actually go into a project like this, station design. That gives us our total price tag, at which point we go out and ask for federal funding. Obviously, the economy's not very conducive to that right now, but we're several years out from being at that point. After that, we have construction. So realistically, this could be 5 to 10 years in the future. A lot of people have asked, what can we do to help? How can we make this happen a little bit faster? The first step, I would encourage everyone to visit our website, r8newtown.com. We have a e-petition where you can leave your name and email address. Everything is kept confidential. You can contact your legislators by email, your state reps, state senators, our federal legislators in Washington, and come back to the site and you can stay informed as to any recent developments that are going on. From the borough's perspective, it would be very helpful to issue a resolution that says that you support the initial drive to rethink and restudy this corridor before we let SEPTA turn loose and just simply build parking lots throughout the region. And that concludes the presentation. Now, if anyone has questions, I guess from the council first.
Yeah. Does anyone in council have questions?
I just have a real simple one. First of all, I thanks for the presentation. I was at the meeting at the George School, and second time's even better. It's a very interesting project, and certainly I support studying it further. Question on the the Newtown Bypass Park and Ride and station, will there be a station there? And if so, how big is the parking lot that you're envisioning for there? And is there room, and does the township support putting a station there?
Yes, they do. It was actually Newtown Township that proactively set aside the land up on the bypass there and zoned it specifically for a rail station. I think that happened within the last 5 years or so. This past December, they passed a resolution supporting a new review, a new study of the Newtown corridor. I guess initially, I think there's about 4 or 5 acres of land there. I mean, our vision would be, you know, a parking facility to meet the initial demand for ridership. There's been other ideas tossed around about perhaps some kind of circulator bus system or something that would also take people to Princeton, New Jersey, or Hamilton if they wanted to go to New York. So there's a potential where this could be, you know, a bigger transportation center sometime down the road.
Have you considered that being the terminus of the line? It seems that it's very close to sort of the center of the borough, and the remaining part could be potentially a rails to trails piece.
It's a possibility, but what we found is that the borough potentially has riders that could walk to the station, and to stop it a mile short of them would turn them into drivers, and then of course put, you know, that much more traffic on the streets. So we thought about that. You know, the park and ride kind of belongs at the terminus of a line because that's where you can reach as many more people as possible. But being that the borough is just a short step up above that, we feel that the borough station is a necessity, even if it only serves, you know, 200 people, 300 people a day, simply because they're walkers.
I think it's worth studying, yeah. Thanks.
Anyone else have any questions on council? Okay. From the audience, are there any questions? I see you've answered them all. Oh, okay.
I didn't lose my chance, did I?
No.
I'm curious about the SEPTA position. And from your presentation, from what I've read, it sounds like it's, well, they say it's financial, it's more philosophical. Is that a fair statement or not?
Yeah, I think that's a step in the right direction.
Well, take me all the way. What's the...
Financially, SEPTA has a $400 million a year capital budget that does not include operating costs. We're looking for $50 million of that for about 5 years to get this built. So the money is there. There will never be $300 million just sitting on the table to use. So then it becomes a matter of priorities. And right now, they're seeing enhancements to existing stations as their highest priority and expansion as kind of the lowest priority. You know, we do disagree with them on that. We think that expansion would get you new riders, whereas enhancements, you know, the fancy signs and the electronic signs and stations don't bring new riders. They might tell you when your train's going to be here, but they're not bringing new riders to the train and getting cars off the road. So we are at odds with them on that in that subject.
Thank you.
It is kind of a philosophical thing. Yep.
Excuse me. Any other questions? Okay. Well, I want to thank you for coming. Are you going to be available for a few minutes if anyone wants to step out in the hall and ask you anything?
Sure. We'll
Okay.
go in the back or outside. Take any more questions offline.
Okay.
We did bring with us for the council's consideration a sample resolution based on what the other townships have already passed, Newtown Township, Upper Southampton, and Cheltenham. It's for your review, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask or
Okay.
contact us.
Thank you.
Okay?
Okay. I was going to ask you if you had that. Thank you very much. Okay.